Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Kristen Commentary Podcast. I want to share a story with all of you. This time last year, we were in the middle of a vicious election cycle, and I was on my way to a family function. And if you come from a politically mixed family like I do, you may have, at one point in your life, had the same thought that I had while I was driving there. I thought, I hope we have a good time and no one brings up politics. Now, I talk a big game about talking to friends and family about what's happening in the world. And I talk about politics all the time on social media and now this show, and I make my stances and my opinions known. But one of the cardinal rules of Kristen commentary is be a human first. That means that when I talk to someone, I put human connection before partisan matters. I want to know what's going on in other people's lives. I want to joke around. I want to celebrate their wins. I want to support them in moments of loss. And we can have serious conversations about politics, but it's ideally through the lens of these human elements and things like our values and the way that we see the world. But this doesn't always happen, especially in an election year like last year. So I was on my way to this function, and I was lamenting the fact that conversations around politics have become so toxic, so charged, so radioactive, that the thought of it coming up at a family function was giving me agita. Agita is Italian for stomach problems that you get because of anxiety. And this didn't start last year. This has been the state of our country for a long time. We are being constantly pumped with stress hormones like cortisol because things like fear, anxiety, and outrage get more clicks, likes, shares, and ratings, and therefore makes more profits than more complicated conversations, more complicated navigations of difference. It reminds me of the Disney Pixar film Monsters, Inc., where the energy that powers the monsters world comes from harvesting the screams of humans. Likewise, there are people in the real world whose job it is to harvest our fear and anger for profit. I often refer to this phenomenon as the outrage industry, and I talk about this at length in my episode on Jojo Siwa. You can think of the folks in the outrage industry as cortisol harvesting monsters, and all of those stress hormones are giving our nation agita. And it's not just the stomach problems. Our country feels like it has been in a constant state of fight, flight, and freeze for a long time. And human beings were never meant to be in that state for prolonged periods of time. So while the outrage industry profits from our high engagement metrics on posts that tap into our fear and anger, the negative health effects of prolonged stress are pretty well documented. Now, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a theater doctor. But these potential health risks are accessible for anyone to look up. These include increased risks of high blood pressure, weakened immunity, digestive issues, chronic pain, sleep disorders, anxiety, depression, cognitive impairment, emotional dysregulation, addiction risk because people are trying to cope with the state of the world, social withdrawal, especially in situations like the one I described where there's anxiety or tension over political differences among friends and family, reduced productivity or burnout because this is exhausting. There's also increased risk of inflammation, accelerated aging, and higher disease risk. The stress hormones and the outrage industry are literally killing us. The way that we're doing politics in this country is literally killing us. Aren't you tired? And guess what? You're also not alone. A 2024 American Psychological Association survey found that 77% of U.S. adults reported that the nation's future was a significant source of stress. 80% Republican, 79% Democrat, 73% Independent, all showing that this cuts across political lines. This means that people who may disagree with you are just as stressed out as you are, even if they win elections. A 2023 Pew Research Center study noted that 65% of Americans feel exhausted when thinking about politics, and 55% feel angry, with only 10% feeling hopeful. And again, these sentiments were not limited by political affiliation. After the 2024 assassination attempts on Donald Trump's life, 60% of Americans were worried about political violence in the future. And a year ago, I was sitting in my car with a lot of this going through my head, thinking, what is stopping us? Is there a way to stay engaged without getting completely burnt out? After all, one thing we all seem to have in common right now is that we're really stressed out regardless of party. So when I was sitting in the car thinking about this a year ago, I made a commitment that I would scale up my efforts to resist the outrage industry. I wrote lyrics to express the collective frustration that I was seeing. And some of you might actually recognize that song today as the theme song of this podcast. At the time, I didn't think that I was ever going to do a podcast. I didn't really know where that project was going to go, other than that it helped me express myself. And today, I'm still feeling stressed out about the state of the world, but I feel much more equipped to handle that stress because of the time and the energy that I've put into educating myself on how things like the outrage industry operates, understanding human psychology, and understanding different ways that we can engage with the world without giving in to some of these baser tactics that we're being exposed to. And this includes lessons on being a human first. Part of what that means is learning how to not take yourself so seriously and to use humor as a way of processing what's going on in the world. Believe it or not, comedy can be a very healthy way of processing things that are not so great. And it's not a coincidence that even the monsters in Monsters, Inc. discovered that laughter is a more powerful energy source than screams. So for our lesson today, I want to use laughter as a way of exercising being a human being first, putting my humanity first. And look, I have a very special guest today who is going to teach us this lesson about being human, because my guest today is a dog. Welcome to Kristen Commentary.
Oh, America, land of the brave, but who will save the ones who crave freedom in a land so divided, where dreams and reality collided?
My friends, my special guest today has many accomplishments and is a special member of my family. He is my little doggy nephew, Randall Susan Mandracchia. Welcome to the Kristen Commentary Podcast.
Hello there.
Randall, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you've done.
Yes, hello there. Thank you for excellent question. Randall is nuclear physicist, constitutional scholar of law, pediatrician, of course, Marxist revolutionary, and Mormon missionary, retired, of course. Randall spends most of his time sleeping now and protecting father from intruders and birds, you know?
Wow. Very impressive. And of course, when you refer to your father, you are talking about my brother Thomas. And I detect a little bit of an accent. Where are you from originally?
Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Yes, of course. Can't you hear Louisiana accent? Randall is not affiliated with Soviet Union or Vladimir Putin in any way. Please stop asking. Next question.
I didn't ask you about Putin.
Yes, next question now, please. Thank you.
Okay. Randall, what is your most liberal position?
Universal suffrage for Randalls?
You mean you want the right to vote?
Yes, so taxation without representation is tyranny, you know. So Randall wants right to vote for fellow Randalls, but not birds.
Wait. Taxation without representation? You pay taxes?
Next question, please. You ask too many questions, you know.
Okay, you've mentioned birds several times now. What is your issue with birds?
Yes, birds are drones. Everyone know that. Exposed in Alfred Hitchcock movie. Killing birds is only solution for Randall.
Randall! That's not very nice.
Tell that to the people in the Hitchcock movie.
Randall, what do you think about the state of our country?
Positive and negative, you know. Randall very happy to see Trump use military in lefty loony cities like LA and DC, just like what used to happen in Randall's home country of Russia, Louisiana. But Randall not so happy that Trump tried to get rid of windmill, you know, because windmill kill birds. It's good for society.
Randall, how can we heal the divisions and work towards the greater good?
Well, put Randall in charge, of course. See, Randall pretty good at compromise. A lot of people do not know that. But this one time, these two different ladies claim that this one baby is both theirs, and this other doctor Randall work with. He's like, let's do a genetic test. And Randall like, no, cut baby in half. And everyone like, no, don't kill baby. But see, Randall is pediatrician, and Randall know best.
So, what happened to the baby?
Randall assert Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Thank you. Next question now.
Okay. Okay, well, I've been wanting to ask you this. Kristi Noem is Trump's head of the Homeland Security, and she wrote in her memoir how she had to shoot a dog because it was bad. What are your thoughts on Kristi Noem's dog policy?
Randall in danger. Goodbye.
Okay, well, thank you, I guess. Well, there you have it, folks. A lesson in humanity from Randall the Dog. I want to be clear that, of course, that conversation was satirical and comedic, and that Kristen Commentary does not endorse Randall's extreme policy towards birds. But really, though, in all seriousness, my brother got Randall in 2022, in early 2022, and he has been a magnificent source of joy for all of us. So if anybody is interested in watching any more Randall content to help them get through the mess that is our world, feel free to look him up on Instagram under the handle Randall All American Boy. That's BOI boy. Randall, come here. Come here. Randall. So here he is. Here's Mr. Randall, here to remind us all to just be a little human, find the joy in life, laugh from time to time, and take care of yourselves. Right, Randall? It's past his bedtime. He's very cranky. Say goodbye. Say goodbye to all the people. Yeah.
But who will save the ones who crave freedom in a land so divided? where dreams and reality